If you've been involved in a tractor trailer accident in Georgia, there's a few things you can do that can really mess up your case. This video is going to make sure that does not happen, so stay tuned. My name is Michael Coker. I'm a local personal injury lawyer in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and I handle tractor trailer truck accident cases all across the state, and I've done hundreds of them. And so I've gathered some really important information over the years that you need to know if you've been involved in an 18-wheeler accident in Georgia. First, 18-wheeler accidents are not typical car accident cases. So if you're calling the 1-800 number of the guy who advertises on television, you might want to reconsider that decision because these are very specialized cases and there's only a limited number of attorneys in Georgia who do them and do them well. Just because somebody advertises on TV that they're standing on top of an 18-wheeler does not necessarily mean they know how to litigate these cases. Number two, these cases are very difficult to win because the drivers of these 18-wheelers sometimes lose their commercial driver's license if they're found to be at fault. And so they are going to fight harder and more ferociously than most of your typical defendants after a routine car accident case. I mean, think about it. If your job was on the line and your livelihood and the way you put food on the table for your family, you are going to fight very hard to try to blame that other driver so you don't take responsibility and lose your CDL license. And so because of that, if you think that you can handle this on your own, you are going to have a high-powered lawyer on the other side representing the trucking company and representing that driver because they don't want to lose their driver. All you need to know is that drivers for trucking companies are extremely hard to find. And so the last thing a trucking company wants is to lose a driver or to get a reputation in the industry that they don't stand up and fight for their drivers in these cases. And so you're going to want to make certain that you have an attorney who is a fighter, who has the knowledge and the experience to stand up to these high-powered lawyers in court. Third, most trucking companies have an incident response team that will be at the scene of the accident within minutes or hours. And so there will be somebody that will already be working on the case within minutes of the accident happening, especially when there's a serious accident. I'm amazed at when I see how there are insurance companies and lawyers that respond to the scene of the accident. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. It could be 3 a.m. There are defense lawyers that will jump in the car, go down, and immediately start doing damage control for their insurance company. I think it's unethical because often they don't even look and make sure that the other driver is okay before they're already trying to figure out how they can beat them in court. And so with these incident response teams, you need a team on your side that's got the money, got the time, and got the experience to go against them because they're going to be the first ones there. They're going to be the first ones to gather information. And so you want to make sure that you hire an attorney that calls you back immediately, that immediately jumps on the case and immediately begins gathering evidence. If you call an attorney with a truck accident case and you get a paralegal and they say they'll call you back or they give you the runaround and you never speak to an attorney, you need to hang up and call somebody else. Third, because of these incident response teams and what they have, one of the primary things that you need to know is most 18-wheelers have what's called a black box. Think of like an airplane, right? So you hear about the black box in airplanes. It's a recorder, a data recorder. And so that typically has information that you're going to need for your case, like the speed of the truck, how hard were the brakes pressed, how long had that driver been on the road before taking a rest or sleeping. These are all important things. And when you have a trucking company that's maybe a little less than honest and unethical, they are very quick sometimes to delete that information in that black box. And if you don't have a lawyer that understands the appropriate letters to send for preservation of evidence to make sure that trucking company does not destroy that black box, then it's going to be gone and you're going to be completely out of luck. And so if you hire the wrong lawyer in this situation and they end up not sending this preservation letter, we send all ours by FedEx overnight mail. to basically anybody involved, the trucking company, their registered agents, and we make sure they have that almost immediately, you can expect this critical evidence to be completely gone. And this could be the difference between you winning and losing your case, or the difference between you having a $10,000 case and a $10 million case. And so all these things are very important and things that you need to understand anytime you're thinking about hiring a truck accident lawyer, because this is important stuff and this is your future and your livelihood that you're looking at. And so you just need to trust that you're hiring somebody that understands truck accidents, truck accident cases, and has the capability to respond as needed. Now, the fourth thing you need to know is that trucks typically have their own commercial motor vehicle regulations. And so there's added requirements for 18-wheelers and trucks that you and I don't necessarily have as a regular old driver. And so you need an attorney that understands those regulations. For example, did you know that drivers of 18-wheelers are only allowed to drive a certain number of hours a day? And if they go over those hours, they're in violation of federal regulations. And so if they're driving, it makes them sleepy and tired and more prone to accidents. There's weight limitations. So if you've ever driven on a trip in Georgia and you get to one of those weight stations and you see all the 18-wheelers pulling off, they're getting weighed to make sure that those trucks are not too heavy. If a truck gets too heavy, it affects its ability to brake properly, stop in time, and it makes basically that 18-wheeler more of a battering ram to cause more damage to vehicles. And so you have trucking companies, again, trying to maximize their profits, trying to kind of skirt the laws and regulations that may know, hey, we're not going to stop there. We're not going to see a weigh station in this route. And so we're going to overload the truck. We're going to make it heavier than it should be. And therefore, they cause more damage and they cause more significant injuries. And so, again, you need a lawyer that understands this regulation, that can check to make sure if the pallets and the items that are loaded in that truck were sufficient or if the truck was overweight. And these are just two requirements. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration has thousands of requirements for tractor trailers. And so, if you don't have a lawyer that understands those and knows exactly what they're looking for, you're going to be in big trouble when you're going up against the high-powered trucking lawyers' cases. And so that's just kind of a basic overview of truck accident cases, of the type of thing that you need to look for when you're looking for a lawyer for a truck accident case. If you want to talk to me about your truck accident case, I would be more than happy to give you a free consultation for any case within the state of Georgia. But I just want you to talk to anyone who's an experienced lawyer who understands trucking cases and is not someone who just advertises on TV and billboards. Because if you hire those firms, I'm not saying they don't have good lawyers there, but you need a specialist who has litigated these cases, who has taken these cases to court, and who understands them. Because if you hire the wrong lawyer for a trucking case, the insurance company is going to know that it's the wrong lawyer, and they're going to minimize the amount of your settlement. And so the only way that you can ensure that you have a maximum settlement that you deserve is to hire the right lawyer who understands these cases. Again, my name is Michael Coker. I'm a personal injury lawyer in Lawrenceville. This is my podcast, Georgia Legal Talks, where I provide just free legal information to the citizens of Georgia. If you like getting these updates, like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about a truck accident case, give me a call. But until next time, thanks for listening.